Hey folks, how we doing? It's Mr. Carter here, ready to do Fluency and Skills Practice Lesson 11.1. This one is multiplying a 3-digit number by a 1-digit number. So go ahead and put your name on this if you haven't yet already, and let's begin. All right, so we're asking again to multiply 3-digit numbers by 1-digit numbers. So I'm going to use various strategies for these, and I'll talk about them as we go through them. So for this one, I'm just going to use, 500 times 4. I'm just going to do an extended fact on this one. So I'm going to go and take my basic fact, which is 5 times 4, and that is 20. And then I'm just going to extend it by 100, which is the 2 zeros, right? So I'm going to just add 2 zeros to my basic fact. And there we have 2,000. And, sorry, let's get that in focus. Okay. So that's it for the first one. And then for over here, 501 times 4, you're going to want to take 500 and multiply that by 4. And then I'm going to break it apart and go 500, and then I'm going to go 1 times 4. Okay. Well, I know 500 times 4. Well, we just did that one over here. That's 2,000. And then I know that 1 times 4 is 4. And I'm going to make sure that I line these up because we're going to add them together. So 2,000 plus 4 is 2,004. So that's our answer here, 2,004. All right. So again, same strategy that I used here, I'm going to use for 506 times 4. So I'm going to break it apart into the 500 times 4, and then I'm going to break it apart into 6 times 4. Okay, so 500 times 4, as we did over here, is 2,000 again. 6 times 4 is 24, and again I'm going to be careful lining up my numbers. Make sure that the 2 goes in the tens place, the 4 goes in the ones place. Then we're going to add those up, and I get 2,024. So that's our answer here, 2,024. And these kind of all go together, as you can see. So that's why they just did number 1 here, because it was 500, and then 501, 506, so that you can break it apart again into that 500 times 4 basic fact. Now let's look at number 2. Number 2 is also kind of related. We'll talk more about that. So we're starting here with our easy one, 300 times 2. So again, that's an extended fact, so we're going to go 2 times 3, or 3 times 2, and that is 6. Okay, and we're going to extend it by 100 because we're multiplying by 300, so it's going to be 600. Well, what I noticed about this one, instead of doing 300 times 2, it's 299 times 2. Well, that is 1 less than 300, which means it's going to be 1 times 2 less, which is 2 less than the answer here. So 3 times 2 is 600. We're going to just take away one group of 2 away from 600. And that, of course, leaves us with 598. Okay. And this one is, again, another group of 2 lower than the one before it, because we had 299. Here we have 298. And that is, again, 2 away from this one. So we're going to go 596. Now, we can check this by doing an area model, and I'll prove that to you right now. So we can go 299. So here's my area model. And we're going to break apart 299 into 299. And we're going to multiply that by 2. Okay, so this is the area model, folks. So 200 times 2 is 400. 90 times 2, well, 9 times 2 is 18, and then you attach a 0, is 180. 9 times 2 is 18. And then what you do is you take your partial products and you add them. So you go 400 plus 180. Whoops, sorry, let me zoom out here. So we're going 400 plus 180 plus 18 and you add up your partial products. So 0, 0, and 8 is 8. 0 plus 8 plus 1 is 9. 5 plus 1 is, 4 plus 1 is 5. So 598, which is what we got over here. Okay. All right, let's continue on with number 3. Okay, so these 3 again are kind of related. We'll talk about that. So we start with our basic fact, or extended facts, I should say, 400 times 3. We start with our basic fact of 4 times 3. That, of course, is 12. And then again, since we're going 400, we're going to add those 2 zeros to our answer to make it 400 times 3. And then you get 1,200. So now, again, we could take 405. We can break it apart and go 400 times 3, and then 5 times 3. Well, I know that 400 times 3, we just did it, is 1,200. 5 times 3 is 15. Again, I'm going to make sure I put my 1 in my tens place, my 5 in my ones place. Add these up together. So we get 1,215 as our answer. 1,215. Third one here, 410 times 3. So again, you could break it apart into 400 times 3 and then 10 times 3, because again, 410 is 410. Again, 400 times 3, we just did it, is 1,200. 10 times 3 is 30. Again, I'm making sure I line up my digits. And I go 1,230. Okay, that's our answer. Okay. Now number 4, I'm going to show the area model for this one again. So it's 499 times 6. All right, so let me write that up here. 499 times 6. And I'm going to break apart my 499 into different place values. So I'm going to go 499. And then we're going to go times 6. All right. So 400 times 6, well, 6 times 4, or 4 times 6 is 24. And then, because it's 400, we're attaching 2 zeros, so it's 2,400. 9 times 6, okay, well, 6 times 9, 54. Don't forget the 0, because it's 90. Okay, and then again, 9 times 6 is 54. So then what you do is you take your partial products and you add them together. So I'm going to go, again, 2,400 plus 540. And again, I'm making sure I line up my digits. Make sure that the hundreds goes in the hundreds, the 10 goes in the tens, and the 1 goes in the 1. Oops, sorry about that. Fix that. And then lastly, 54. Then we add them all together. I'm going to kind of erase my arrows because it kind of gets a little cluttered there. So now we're going to add these together. So 0, 0, and 4 is 4. 5 plus 4 is 9. 5 plus 4 is 9 again. And then 2,000. So it's 2,994. So I'm just going to transfer that over here. 2,994. Okay. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you try 5 and 6 on your own. I'll come back with the answers. But I want you to try any strategy that works for you, whether it's breaking it apart like this or using an area model or whatever works best for you. I want you to do 5 and 6 and see how you do with those. Okay, welcome back. So number 5, the answer should have been 2,118. Number 6, the answer should have been 975. Okay. For number 7, it was asking you, what pattern do you notice in problem 2? How could it help you solve a problem such as 297 times 2. Well, if we go back to number 2, we started out with 300 times 2 and we got 600. Then the factor went down by 1. So it went from 300 to 299. But the product went down by 2. So every time the factor went down by 1, the product went down by 2. And you notice it here. So the factor again went down 1 from 299 to 298. So we subtracted 1. So that means the product was subtracted by 2. So that's what I wrote here. So we subtracted 2 every time. Every time the factor went down by 1, the product went down by 2. Because 298 times 2 up here was 596. Then 297 times 2 would be 594. And then lastly, it said number 8, choose problem 4, 5, or 6 and explain how you could check your answer. Well, again, you could check it using a different strategy. So you could use like a area model, or maybe you used a calculator to help you check your answer. But again, everyone's answers for number 8 will be a little different. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Let your teacher know if you have any more questions. Take care.